The heart-gripping movie Saving Private Ryan, starring Tom Hanks, was based upon real facts, real people. And the first person in this video, Pete Niland, is related to them. His father is one of those brothers. Pete reads a letter from his dad to his mother during World War II. Following Pete is a World War II veteran who has first-hand knowledge of this story, and he relates it.
Dearest Mother, how are you, Mom? I received your very nice letter, and I was awfully glad to hear from you. I received all the letters of recommendation in my income tax check. Thank Dad for getting that stuff for me. I appreciate it very much. It is certainly swell to have a family like ours behind me. I know that I'll always have someone to depend upon. Everyone at home has certainly been darn swell to me. Don't worry, Mom, please, because all of your boys will come back home safely. This war will be over soon. Some night we will all be together again, and it will seem like it was just a great big dream. At least no one can say that Mr. and Mrs. Niland's 4 sons were draft dodgers. Tell Eddie that I wish him the best of luck. He will be okay. In fact, he will probably make the best soldier of the 4 of us. Ed will have a fine bunch of buddies by the sound of Margaret's letter. Marv, Iski, Eddie Steffens, a fine-looking bunch of rookies they will be. I can see them now, marching around, and the non-coms pushing themselves at them. Boy, I would pay $1,000 to see that. You know, Mom, since my training period is over, I'm supposed to be a seasoned soldier. Therefore, I have a right to call the guys rookies. In the Army now, they are called Jeeps instead of rookies. But seriously, I think those other guys won't be so good. But Eddie can go and keep up with the best of them. I'll write him a letter the first chance that I get. I received Muggsy's card, and it was very nice of him to think of me. Muggsy was a dog, by the way. Thank Marge for the letter, too. My work around here is nothing really important to speak of. You see, Mom, we're at a field hospital, and our work will come when we go into action somewhere. I will be quite a while because they need to get more men before they can do anything. So far as your number 3 son goes, he is in good hands and feeling fine. As soon as you get Fritz's address, send it to me, and I would like very much to write him. Pete is in San Francisco. I hope he does all right for himself. He certainly did a lot of traveling in the past year. A couple more like him in the Army, and the war would end quick. Did Fritz have a good party the night he left? Gosh, it is going to be tough keeping up with those brothers of mine. But we have a tough bunch, aren't we, Mom? And we can take this thing in stride. Mother, I miss you a terribly lot, and I love you very dearly and deeply. When I do come back home this day, I promise you that I will be a better man and a son that you can truly be proud of. The reason us Niland boys are all making good soldiers and clean-cut young men, is because of the fine and decent way that you, Mom, and Dad have raised us. We have always been taught the right thing, and because of you, we have grown into wholesome Americans. I only hope that I can live up to the standards set by the rest of our family. On both sides, we have always had the cleanest of service records. Uncle Fred and Dad came out with flying colors, and so will the rest of us. When they start handing down the praise, it should go to the mother and fathers, like you and Dad, who send their boys out in defense of their country. Please, Mom, don't worry. Everything is going to turn out just fine. Just watch and pray at home. You know, Mom, I try to make believe that I'm a big grown man and a soldier all dressed up, just like I used to dream about when I was younger. Down inside of me, Mom, I am still just a little baby next to Fritz. We used to be afraid of the dark and who always wanted his mother when he was in trouble. Honest, Mom, that is what I always want to be, my mother's little baby boy. It will always be the way I feel. And even today, if something happened, I would find my mother and then it would be all right again. Well, I have to close now. Mom, because it is getting late and the lights will be going out soon. Maybe I can come home one of these weekends. I hope so. I think I'll have a good chance. Well, Mom, keep that old chin of yours up, and I'm praying for you every night. Give my love to Dad and the rest of the family. I am the best guy in the world for my father and the best mother in the world. My mom is a neat lady. She is tops. Your loving son, Bob. Thank you.
I was one of those crazy boys who jumped out of a perfectly good airplane. But I have something here I'd like to read. This is in regard to Saving Private Ryan, if I could read the small print. This comes from the book Look Out Below by our beloved captain, a chaplain, Father Sampson. This is what Father Sampson wrote. When the regiment was bivouacked near Utah Beach, waiting for the boats to take us back to England, a young soldier by the name of Fritz Niland came to me. He was very troubled in mind. The company commander of his brother, who was with the 508th Parachute Regiment, told Fritz that his brother had been killed and was buried in a cemetery called St. Marie-Église in Normandy, France. We jumped in my Jeep and drove to the 20 miles back to that town. And checking the cemetery roster, I couldn't find the boy's name. And I said, "There's no William Niland listed here, Fritz." He said that encouragingly. "Though there is a Roland Niland listed." And the boy said, "Father, that's my brother too." As people attested. He was a lieutenant in the 90th Division. The unhappy boy tried to choke back tears. After saying a few prayers at the grave, we went to another cemetery just a few blocks away where we found the grave we were looking for originally. A third brother had been killed in the Pacific. And I interrupt a little bit. Actually, after the war, fortunately, he wasn't killed. He was taken captive, and he made it back home okay. But he was presumably dead during this letter. As we were driving back to the bivouac area, Fritz kept saying over and over again, more to himself than to me, "What will poor Butch do now? What will poor Butch do now?" "Who is Butch, son?" I asked. "Butch? Oh, she's my mother." I looked at him and wondered if he were suffering from combat exhaustion and the terrible shock of this afternoon's discovery. He must have read my thoughts, for he explained, "We four boys always called Mom Butch these last few years. That's because when we wanted to listen to swing orchestras and jive bands on the radio, Mom would always turn it on the Gangbusters or some program about gangsters. She liked those. Now I'm the only son left. Mrs. Niland had received 3 tragic wires within a week. However, we managed to get Fritz back to the States, so Butch had one son to comfort her.